It's very important now for modern hadal investigations to sample the entire trench, various depths and various different kinds of habitats within this place.
The next global war may not begin in the skies or across the land. It could start nearly 7 miles beneath the surface of the ocean. For decades, scientists believed the Mariana Trench was nothing more than a vast, dark void at the bottom of the sea. But that assumption was wrong. A recent deep-sea expedition has retrieved something from the depths that could change everything we know about life, energy, and the future of humanity. It isn't a newly discovered fish, and it's not some unusual rock either. What researchers found may be a biological key, something that could unlock the possibility of eternal life and limitless energy. But there's a serious problem. Only one nation may end up controlling it, and the race to secure this mysterious treasure from the ocean floor has already begun, quietly, secretly, and far more dangerously than anyone realizes. Before we dive deeper into this incredible mystery, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the secrets hidden in the deepest parts of our world. The hidden secret in the sediment. Most of us imagine the ocean as a peaceful blue world, dolphins leaping through waves and colorful reefs thriving under the sun. But that image only scratches the surface. The real story of our oceans lies far below, in a place almost no human has ever seen. To understand it, you have to descend deep into the abyss, down to Challenger Deep. This enormous wound in Earth's crust plunges nearly 7 miles beneath the surface. To grasp that depth, imagine dropping Mount Everest into the trench. Even then, more than a mile of water would still cover the summit. For decades, scientists believed this place was completely lifeless. After all, it's pitch black, brutally cold, and crushed by pressure more than 1,000 times stronger than what we experience at sea level. Enough force to shatter a human body instantly. But recently, researchers decided to investigate more closely. A deep-sea mission, known as the Mir Project, deployed an advanced submersible called Fenduier into the darkness. This wasn't some sightseeing expedition. It was more like a carefully planned heist. The robotic craft hovered over the ocean floor, enduring immense pressure while vacuuming massive amounts of sediment from the seabed. When those muddy samples finally reached the laboratory, scientists expected something mundane: rocks, perhaps a few dead microorganisms. Instead, they uncovered an entire hidden world. Inside the samples were over 7,000 distinct microbial species, and the most shocking part, nearly 90% of them had never been recorded by science before. It was as if researchers had stumbled upon an alien ecosystem right here on Earth. But the real surprise wasn't just their existence, it was how they survived. These microscopic life forms were thriving in conditions that should have destroyed them instantly. They fed on toxic chemicals, endured pressures capable of crushing steel, and continued living as if it were perfectly normal. Their secret lies in an extraordinary ability, a biological defense system that repairs damaged DNA almost immediately. Think about that. In our world, DNA damage leads to aging and eventually death. But these organisms simply fix the problem and continue living. This isn't just an interesting scientific curiosity, it's a blueprint. If researchers can decode how these microbes protect and repair themselves, it could revolutionize medicine in ways that make even the discovery of electricity seem small. There's just one problem. You can't simply travel to the bottom of the trench with a bucket and scoop up these organisms. It's the most extreme and difficult environment on Earth to reach. Yet one nation appears to have already mapped the region more thoroughly than anyone else. While much of the world focused on political conflicts on land, this mission quietly gathered 15 times more deep-sea data than any previous expedition. They didn't just discover new microbes. They may have uncovered the biological formula for near-limitless longevity. And now that the world knows it exists, a race has quietly begun, one that could determine who controls this discovery first. The ocean floor is no longer just unexplored wilderness. It has become a battlefield. And the first weapon in this conflict isn't a missile or a warship, it's a microscope. But the biological discovery is only part of the story. Because hidden beside those microscopic life forms lies another treasure that could reshape the global economy: the dark ocean's hidden gold rush. These powerful microbes alone could transform medicine. But history shows that nations rarely invest billions of dollars purely for scientific curiosity. They do it for energy, resources, and influence. And scattered across the seabed of the Mariana Trench are strange objects that look like nothing more than dirty potatoes. They're called polymetallic nodules. At first glance, they appear to be ordinary rocks, but crack one open, and you're looking at a treasure chest of metals: cobalt, nickel, copper, and manganese. These elements are essential for modern technology. Electric vehicles, smartphones, laptops, almost every advanced device depends on them. The problem is that mining these metals on land is becoming increasingly difficult. It's expensive, environmentally damaging, and many deposits are already running low. But deep beneath the ocean's darkness, trillions of dollars worth of these nodules lie scattered across the seabed, waiting to be collected. The nation that controls these underwater deposits could dominate the global battery industry. And in today's world, batteries have become the new oil. Yet that's not the only resource hidden in the trench. Buried within the seabed is another extraordinary substance known as fire ice. Scientists call it methane hydrate. It looks like pale, frozen slush, but bring it to the surface and touch it with a flame, and it burns. This material is an incredibly dense energy source. Some researchers believe that the total energy stored in methane hydrates beneath the oceans could exceed all known oil and natural gas reserves combined. If that estimate proves accurate, the deepest parts of our oceans may hold the largest untapped energy reserve in human history. Picture this for a moment: an almost limitless energy supply resting quietly at the bottom of the ocean. At first glance, it sounds like the perfect solution to humanity's energy problems. But the reality is far more dangerous. Extracting this resource isn't simple. It's like spinning a roulette wheel with everything at stake. The sea floor in these extreme depths is unstable. If large-scale drilling or dredging begins to harvest the so-called fire ice, it could trigger enormous underwater landslides. And that's only the beginning of the risk. Disturbing these deposits could release massive clouds of methane gas trapped beneath the seabed. Methane is a greenhouse gas far more powerful than carbon dioxide, about 80 times stronger in trapping heat. If a large methane plume suddenly escaped from the depths of the Mariana Trench, it could surge through the ocean and reach the atmosphere, dramatically accelerating climate change in a very short time. In other words, one wrong move could set off a kind of climate bomb. Yet despite those dangers, preparations are already underway. Engineers are developing huge robotic mining machines, massive devices that resemble underwater bulldozers, designed to crawl along the seafloor and harvest resources from the darkest parts of the planet. Their job will be to scrape and collect materials to satisfy the ever-growing demand of our technology-driven world. And that's where the real tension begins. Who actually owns the bottom of the ocean? On paper, much of it lies in international waters. But in practice, control often belongs to whoever has the technology to reach those depths and the military strength to protect their operations. What we're witnessing now is essentially a modern gold rush, except the tools have changed. Instead of picks and shovels, the race involves nuclear submarines, advanced submersibles, and AI-powered robots. The stakes are so high that even long-standing global alliances are starting to feel the strain. Every nation wants a share of the resources hidden in the deep. But while countries compete over metals and energy deposits, they may be overlooking the most extraordinary discovery of all, the one hidden inside the biology of deep-sea life itself. The minerals beneath the ocean floor might power our devices, but the microscopic life forms found in the trench could potentially power human life. Why the deep sea has the attention of Big Pharma. Let's return to those strange microbes for a moment, because their abilities are almost unbelievable. Earlier we mentioned their remarkable talent for repairing their own DNA. To understand why that matters, think about what happens to our bodies every day. At the surface, our cells are constantly under attack. Sunlight, pollution, radiation, even normal metabolism gradually damages our genetic code. Over time, our bodies become less effective at repairing that damage. That slow accumulation of errors is what we call aging. It's why skin wrinkles, organs weaken, and eventually, life comes to an end. But in the crushing depths of the Challenger Deep, life follows entirely different rules. The pressure there is so intense that it should literally tear DNA molecules apart. Yet the organisms living there survive and thrive. They've evolved incredibly powerful repair systems. Specialized enzymes and proteins work like an elite maintenance crew, instantly patching damage in their genetic code before it can cause harm. For biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies, that discovery is extraordinary. If scientists can isolate those repair mechanisms and adapt them for human medicine, the possibilities could be revolutionary. Treatments might one day prevent cancer before it forms. Aging itself could potentially slow dramatically. It sounds like science fiction, but the biological blueprint already exists in nature, and the impact may go far beyond medicine. Some deep-sea creatures have developed unique physical adaptations as well. For example, species like the Hadal snailfish survive extreme pressure with surprisingly soft bodies and specialized cellular structures. Studying how these organisms function could influence not only healthcare, but also materials science, biotechnology, and advanced engineering. In other words, the deepest parts of our oceans may hold secrets capable of transforming both human health and human technology. Some of the creatures living in the deepest parts of the ocean look almost unreal. Take the strange fish known as the Hadal snailfish. At first glance, it resembles a pale, ghost-like tadpole drifting through the darkness. Unlike most fish, it doesn't have rigid bones. Down in those crushing depths, hard skeletons would simply snap. Instead, its body is supported by unique molecules that prevent its cells from collapsing under immense pressure. Scientists are studying these molecules closely because they could inspire entirely new kinds of materials. Imagine submarines or spacecraft built using the same principles as deep-sea life, structures that are flexible, capable of self-repair, and nearly impossible to crush. The engineering possibilities are enormous. The military implications are even bigger. Technology inspired by these organisms could lead to autonomous drones capable of diving deeper than traditional sensors can track. Remaining hidden in the ocean for months while drawing energy from their environment. That's why the data gathered during the Mir project created such excitement in the scientific community. When some of the genetic information from those discoveries was released, it was almost like revealing the first pieces of a treasure map. Now laboratories around the world are racing to replicate and synthesize the proteins found in those deep-sea organisms. But this raises an uncomfortable question. If one nation manages to unlock the secrets of anti-aging medicine or super-strong materials using resources found in international waters, should that discovery belong to everyone, or just the country that developed it? History suggests the answer may not be very generous. And that's exactly why activity in the region is increasing so quickly. What started as scientific exploration is slowly turning into something more strategic, almost like territorial presence. The mission is shifting from "let's explore the deep ocean" to "let's establish control there." Some of the future plans being discussed sound almost unbelievable. Instead of merely visiting the seabed, one major power is reportedly working toward building a permanent deep-sea station. Think of something similar to the International Space Station, except this one would sit thousands of feet beneath the ocean's surface. The idea is to create a base where crews could stay for weeks, conducting experiments, monitoring ecosystems, and testing deep-sea mining technologies. And humans won't be doing it alone. Part of the strategy involves fleets of AI-powered robotic gliders. Rather than relying on a single expensive submersible, hundreds of smaller autonomous drones could be deployed. They would communicate with each other, map the terrain, and search for valuable resources across vast areas of the sea floor. If one fails, it doesn't matter. There are dozens more continuing the mission. From a strategic perspective, that kind of system could be extremely powerful. A permanent network of underwater sensors and drones could monitor huge portions of the Pacific Ocean. Ships, submarines, and underwater activity could all potentially be tracked from the depths. In effect, places like the Mariana Trench could become enormous listening posts beneath the sea. What we're witnessing may be the beginning of a very different kind of geopolitical competition. Not a loud conflict filled with visible battles, but a quiet, high-tech race taking place in darkness and under crushing pressure. The country that eventually masters technology for operating in these extreme depths could gain a major advantage in the decades ahead. Because success down there will depend on three things above all: advanced materials, powerful AI systems, and next-generation energy technology. And here's the twist. Those advanced batteries needed to power future technology require rare metals. And where are many of those materials located? Scattered across the ocean floor, right inside the Mariana Trench. It creates a strange loop. You need technology to reach the trench, but the trench itself holds the resources needed to build even better technology. But while powerful nations quietly watch each other beneath the waves, another story is unfolding down there, one that links the deepest ocean to the farthest edges of space. Because the trench isn't just a mining site. In many ways, it's a training ground for humanity's most ambitious exploration missions, the deep ocean and the search for alien life. Here's where things start to feel almost cosmic. Agencies like NASA pay extremely close attention to discoveries from the trench. The reason is simple. The Mariana Trench may be the closest environment on Earth to an alien world. Scientists are already planning missions to places like Europa and Enceladus. Both of these icy moons are believed to hide vast liquid oceans beneath thick layers of ice. Those oceans would be dark, crushed by pressure. heated only by chemical reactions deep below the surface. Sound familiar? If life exists there, it would probably resemble the strange organisms discovered in the trench, microbes that feed on chemicals rather than sunlight, and creatures capable of surviving immense pressure. By studying life in the deep ocean, scientists are essentially learning how to search for life beyond Earth. The robotic vehicles exploring the Pacific today could become the prototypes for machines that swim through alien oceans decades from now. But microbes may not be the only mystery. Some researchers have proposed a controversial idea called the shadow biosphere theory. Traditional biology assumes that every living organism on Earth shares the same basic ancestry and genetic system. But the extreme environment of the trench challenges that assumption. What if another form of life evolved there independently? Life built on a different biochemical foundation, perhaps using elements other than carbon or genetic systems different from the DNA we know. Some scientists speculate that strange gelatinous shapes observed by deep-sea robots might not be simple animals at all. They could represent entire colonies of organisms evolving along a completely separate evolutionary path. In other words, while humanity searches the skies for alien civilizations, something radically different may have been living beneath our oceans for billions of years. The strange sounds of the abyss. The deep ocean is far from silent. It's filled with clicks, echoes, and mysterious vibrations. One of the most famous examples occurred in the late 1990s, when NOAA recorded an enormous underwater sound known as the bloop. The signal was so powerful, it was detected by sensors thousands of miles apart. Scientists later suggested it may have been caused by cracking ice in the Antarctic, but the sound's unusual pattern sparked endless speculation. Some researchers believe the crushing depths could serve as a refuge for massive, unknown creatures. In deep-sea environments, a phenomenon known as abyssal gigantism occurs. Organisms often grow far larger than their shallow water relatives. Colossal squids already reach enormous sizes in the deep. It's not impossible that other giant predators may still exist in the unexplored darkness. But the most unsettling possibility may not be monsters. It might be us, the deep sea, as the next military frontier. While scientists look for new life, military planners see another opportunity: invisibility. The deep ocean is one of the few places on Earth where massive objects can hide beyond the reach of satellites or radar. Some analysts believe that future autonomous underwater systems could operate in trenches miles beneath the surface. Hidden stations or unmanned vehicles could potentially remain undetected for long periods, turning places like the Mariana Trench into strategic listening posts beneath the Pacific. Whether those theories prove accurate or not, one thing is certain: interest in the deep ocean is growing rapidly. The environmental risk. But in the middle of all this ambition lies a troubling reality. During one of the deepest robotic dives ever performed at Challenger Deep, cameras captured something unexpected on the sea floor: a beer bottle. Nearby, researchers also spotted a plastic bag. Even in the most remote place on Earth, human pollution had already arrived. Tiny plastic particles have now been found inside deep-sea creatures, such as amphipods, living thousands of meters below the surface. These organisms survived asteroid impacts and ice ages, yet they are now ingesting our waste. And there may be another hidden danger. Sediments at the bottom of the trench act like a time capsule, preserving ancient microbes and viruses that have remained dormant for millions of years. Disturbing the seabed through large-scale mining or drilling could potentially expose microorganisms that modern ecosystems have never encountered. The deep ocean could contain remarkable discoveries, new medicines, new energy sources, and insights into life itself. But it could also hold risks we barely understand. The choice humanity faces. The Mariana Trench has shown us something important. It isn't empty. It's filled with resources, mysteries, and scientific discoveries powerful enough to reshape our future. The question is how we choose to approach it. Will we treat the deep ocean as a place of knowledge and careful exploration? Or will we treat it as another resource to exploit as quickly as possible? The silence of the abyss is fading. Machines are descending, and decisions made in the next decade could influence the planet for centuries. Because when humanity looks into the deepest part of the ocean, it isn't just discovering a new frontier. It's discovering a mirror, one that reflects how we choose to shape our future. And that leads to a final question. If one nation eventually unlocks the anti-aging biology hidden in the trench, will it share that discovery with the world or keep it as a guarded secret? Let us know what you think in the comments. And if you're fascinated by the mysteries of the deep ocean, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more explorations into Earth's most hidden secrets.